Hey, what's up, adventurers? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about how picky of an eater is Fenrir. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking right now, like, there is no way that this dog can be picky. He's 38% wolf, he has all these different breeds in him, he has to love to eat whatever you put on the plate. Well, you'd be surprised how picky Fan can he be. And when I say like he's picky, I mean he's very picky. So let me give you an example. I feed my dogs half raw and half kibble, right? Depending on my situation, depending on how the day is going, dictates which one I feed first. Normally, I do feed either. Normally, I do feed the dry dog food first, and then at night I'll go ahead and feed them the raw food because it's too hot outside for them to be outside throughout the day. For me to give it to them like at 10 or 11, right? So dog food in the morning, sometimes. Dog food at night. I mean, raw food at night. So what he does, and what your dog may do, is if you start feeding this type of schedule, is that he knows that at, let's say, like 6 7 p.m. he's gonna get his big raw diet. He's just gonna hold off from eating his dry dog food. He's gonna eat that. He's gonna come back inside and be like, I'm not gonna eat that. For what? I'll just wait till the next day to eat again. And it's kind of bad because it's half of his, that's half of his food that he's supposed to be intaking. And he doesn't do that all the time. He doesn't do that all the time. But I'm saying he's picky because he picks what dog food he wants to do that with. Like, he'll smell it and then he'll just like walk away. Or he'll do those things where, I don't know if your dog has done it, where he smells it and then he's kind of like, what? And then he starts digging in there and then he tips it over and then he starts smelling. It's trying to find something that I guess pleases them enough to eat it. So that's what he does. That's his thing. He tips it over. He doesn't do it as much anymore, thank God. But he used to do it a lot. He used to tip over the bowl, and he would just start smelling and trying to find stuff. And then he'd be like, "Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna eat it," and just walk away. I'm like, "Really, dude?" So if you're considering getting a Blue Bay Shepherd, and I've actually seen this across the board, Blue Bay Shepherds and wolf dogs in general, I think from what I've read, wolf dogs tend to be picky eaters because they're kind of like, if they understand, they're more intelligent than most dogs. So I feel like it's their way of playing the system. Like, I'm not gonna eat it. It doesn't smell good. I'm not gonna do that. There's no way. And they just kind of like, just walk off. So what I do in those situations is I'll stop feeding him raw until he starts eating the dry dog food. I'm telling you, he's gonna eat eventually. Like, there's no way your dog is not gonna eat the dog food. He's not gonna starve himself for 3 days. He doesn't even starve himself for one day. He'll start eating it like at the end of the night. So once he's like, okay, he's not gonna give me the raw food. Okay, I'll start eating this. So that's what I do. I'll be like, okay, I'm introducing a new brand. Maybe because I cycle through the brands, like a brand a month. So maybe the next month I'm trying a new brand, and he's like, well, I kind of don't want that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You don't want it right now because you're gonna get your raw food. I'm just not gonna feed you raw. And Ghost suffers the consequences because unfortunately everybody in this household gets, if one gets punished, the other gets punished too. So unfortunately for Ghost, he doesn't get his raw food either. But it still gives Finn the idea that, okay, you know what, maybe I'm not gonna get raw food at night now, and it starts confusing him. So now the next day, guess what he's gonna eat? His dry dog food. He's gonna eat it. And sometimes I do, like, if I have to go somewhere, I'll just put his bowl in his cage and then I'll leave, and I'll come back because sometimes I'll be in and out. I'll be gone for maybe like 2 hours or an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave the bowl in there, and maybe see if he eats it. And he does. He'll usually eat the bowl. Some people don't like putting them in their cage because the cage is for sleeping, which it is. I mean, it works for me. It might not work for you. Everybody has different methods. I mean, if it gets him to eat and he's a picky eater, I'm gonna do it. So I made this video because I see a lot of people, commenting like, my dog doesn't want to eat, my dog doesn't want to do this, my dog hasn't eaten in a day, I'm scared. All over Instagram, Facebook, anybody with a wolf dog generally asks these questions, and honestly, they're gonna eat. They're not gonna. Okay. Let me backtrack. If your dog hasn't ate in like a day and a half or 2 days, then yeah, maybe. And he doesn't eat like anything you give him at all, like even aside from the dry dog food, then maybe you need to take him to the vet. That's different. That's different. I'm saying about like normal circumstances where you're feeding him and he kind of just like just doesn't want to eat it. Like he's gonna eat it eventually. My fan does it all the time. He thinks that he's not gonna eat the bowl of dried dog food because maybe he doesn't like the way it smells, this and this. I'm like, bro, you've ate it before. It's nothing new. You've ate this dog food before. You ate it a week ago. Just eat it again. I feel like a lot of people get kind of paranoid when their dogs do this because I know I do. Like I know when I first had him and he would do that, I was like, yo, what's going on? Like, does he have a virus? Is he sick? So I'm like over here like, Fan, what's wrong with you? And most of the time he was just being a petty dog. It's just kind of like, nah, I don't want. I'm too good for it. So keep in mind if you trying to buy a Blue Bay Shepherd, which is something that I've seen on the Facebook page a lot. You know, people posting like, my dog's not eating his food. What do I do? You know, there's different approaches you can try to it. They sell these like raw little foods. I'm not sure what they're like, treats. They're like raw treats, raw, and you can just put it in there. They're like fillers. I think that's what they're called. I don't know what they're called exactly, but you put them in the dog food and it's supposed to entice him to eat it. That for me, I found that didn't work because again, he tips it over and he finds which one he wants to eat and he eats those and he leaves the rest. I mean, and the bag's pretty expensive, dude. It's not that cheap. And for what it is, for to me it's expensive. I wouldn't buy it, especially if your dog knows ways around it like Fen does. And it wasn't even Fen. Ghost figured it out too. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna tip it over," and he did the same thing. So, I'm saying because Fenrir's a lot more. He finds ways around things as opposed to Ghost, and Ghost figured it out. That means that a normal dog should too. So if your dog is already a picky eater, I'd buy the smallest bag you can try and try that. Another thing you can do is put ground beef. Put some ground beef at the bottom. You know, make like a patty, like a burger of kibble, surrounded by ground beef. Another thing too is that, are you exercising your dog? Because if you kind of don't walk him or if you don't run your dogs and you're giving them foods, maybe they're just not wasting enough energy and they're really not that hungry and they're just kind of like, I mean, I don't like it that much to where I want to eat it. So maybe what you need to do is go ahead and fast him for half a day. You know, you feed your dog once, and go throughout the day without feeding him anymore. Take him for a walk or a run the next morning, and then give him food like an hour later. And I'm pretty sure from all that energy he wasted and he's expanded, he's kind of like, he's gonna be like, okay, I need food now. And the first thing he's gonna do is dive into that bowl. Unfortunately, like, I'm not an expert at this. You know, I'm going through trial and error. So I know that my errors were that I wasted money on that raw little portions of food and then you would put it in the food because he tipped it over. I know that part of my error was that I was conforming to him, so when he wouldn't like that dog food, I would buy another brand and it was the same thing, and vice versa. You know, it was just continuously the same problem. Another error was that I was continuously feeding him raw after he had already ignored eating kibble, and it took me like about a week till I caught on what he was doing. I'm like, okay, you know you're gonna get fed at night. You're not eating in the morning because you're gonna eat at night, and then you don't eat again in the morning because you're gonna eat at night again the next day. So it was a routine, and again, that's an error for my part that I picked up on. So those are three things that I did wrong that maybe can help you guys if you guys are in that situation, right? So what fixed it for me was that I took off the raw food. I was like, okay, that's fine. And I know maybe some of you guys are shaking your head right now, like, why don't you just feed him raw? Why don't you just go all raw if that's what he wants? It's his natural diet, dude. I know, I know. Trust me. But I also advocate that you need to be flexible. Right now, with the coronavirus, how many meat markets are closed? Restri- how many restrictions have been placed on food that you can buy? There's so much thing going on that it is, if you were to keep doing that, it would be very impractical for some people. Everybody's lifestyle is a little bit different. Maybe you have the time to do that. Maybe some people don't. So keep that in mind that not everybody is going through the same circumstances you are throughout their life. So some people can only feed dry dog food. Some people have the ability to feed raw. Some people are doing both, like me. That's it, guys. Hopefully you guys gained something from my trial and errors. If you did, if there's at least one thing that you enjoyed, go ahead and paw that like button. And if you're part of the 88% of the people who watch my videos that are not subscribed, then make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And nothing but peace and love from my pack to yours.